beautiful, beautiful game by our Blue Devils. Eric, not much to not like about this one.
Yeah, no, it was a great performance to see. A lot of energy. Duke came right out of the gate and just essentially overwhelmed Central Arkansas. They were relentless on defense, especially in the first half. I mean, we came out and we're running a full court defense on them, and they just could not handle it. We got out so fast. We ended up like even backing off defensively, in the sense of at least not pressing full court in the second half. But it's still by that time we were just so far out in front, and then it was just running fast break drills, and everyone was getting involved. I mean, I think 10 Blue Devils scored in this game of the 12 that played. So everyone was getting a piece. Our big men showed up, both of them. Had career highs. I mean, Carey had a double-double. We dominated almost everywhere. We caused 21 turnovers, which is continuing to keep up there with the amount of turnovers that we're causing throughout these consistent games. And we out-rebounded them by 20. So we were not giving them like any edge, despite who our opponent is. We were pretty much full throttle and never backed off. And yeah, it was a really great to see him running like that, turning the defense into offense.
So the incredible stat on the turnovers, and you alluded to it, is the Kansas game, 28 forced turnovers. Kansas made 23 shots. Colorado State forced 18. They made 18 shots. Central Arkansas, 21 forced turnovers. 18 made field goals. So after 3 games into the season, Duke has forced 8 more turnovers than their opponents have made baskets.
Wow.
Like
that's a change.
That doesn't happen. Like, yeah. What?
Yeah. It's I was kind of reading over some of the the post game, some of the quotes and stuff, and across the board quotes coming from like Matthew Hurd and coach himself and Carey. I mean, this seems to be the emphasis is that it is on defense to start this year. Because everything they answered, their questions they answered, they're like, oh, how their night went, blah, blah. They were like, well, it was our defense. We were all, working together, working on defense. And coach says that everything's going to come from the defense. And that's strongly showing up. And it seems to be the case that it just makes the team fired up, and then everything else just comes, from that. And when teams are getting frustrated on offense, you can't do that. Then they're just back on their heels playing defense, and it just opens up the whole game. So yeah, I think our guys are all over him. I think there was even like one clip when we were playing like we're so in sync right now, kind of on defense. Like I know we showed in that one highlight play when we had the 3 guys all get involved on the one eventual steal.
Yep.
But there was one play they were inbounding the ball. We were still doing like full court man, and like both like Trey Jones and Jack White were like defending the one guy who was trying to get the ball, and they were like moving like left to right at the exact same time, just like it was like some weird kind of like foosball system of like defense, and they were just so in sync of like
foosball. I love that.
Like cutting off the lanes, and I was like, wow, like,
that's actually how Coach K controls them from the bench.
Just if you zoom in really close, you can see the strings and like
yeah. That's how he does it.
Yeah. But there were a couple of different things too. I mean, like I said, we were really working with a deep lineup in this game, but there was some subtle tinkering. Like Matthew Hurt didn't start. He came off the bench. Right. I kind of like that. He came off and quickly got 10 points, like we saw in the highlights in the first half. And then he started in the second half in place of Jack White. Right. So I think Coach K is still like working with them stuff. And then because of like Trey Jones kind of getting hit in the head and then precautionarily sitting him out in the second half. We saw Wendell Moore kind of move into this guard role, kind of running point, but that's not what he's going to be or what he's trying to do. But he did kind of take on that role in this game.
I was really curious about. I wanted to ask you and Justin about this. Like Wendell Moore at the point, is that like I thought he was a forward. Like, is that a thing?
Yeah, I mean, he's big. I mean, I think he could play. I think he could play guard. But I mean, he's big to compared to the guys that are going to be like would be defending a point guard. I don't think he's going to be trying to play a point guard like at this stage and not on this team. Mm-hmm. I think Trey's our guy, or we have more guys that would run point if they're in the game. And I think even Coach K said that like he's like there was a post game quote where he was kind of alluding to like that's not the intention. Like like Wendell Moore isn't going to be the backup point guard to Trey Jones, and Phil do whatever else he can. Like but he can function as a guard when everyone else is bigger than him on the court, and he kind of takes in that role. But I think they kind of want to have him be, not so much it's like the coach on the floor, like the floor general, but kind of, the guy who's able to, very much handle the ball and like can get an offense moving, but more of like an attacker and a scorer, also being able to shoot and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think he still has a bit of a ways to go with the ball handling. I mean, we saw there in the highlight, he did sort of fumble that one to Jack. I mean, it was a 3-point anyway, right? Like nobody's gonna steal it from him at that point. But yeah, I mean, all in all, this is a particularly it was well balanced. I don't have much to. There's not much to criticize.
We even shot 12 for 14 from free throws. Like that's not even a thing that, like, Central Arkansas has an impact. We just shot better, and I think it's just because the other facets of the game were there, and it turns out, hey, we can actually, when we're kind of relaxed and playing all the other parts well, that's we can actually make free throws. That's good to see.
Cassius Stanley, 18 of 22 so far on the season. I think the stat was what? He's the fourth highest offensive field goal percentage in Duke history through like 3 games.
Yeah, I think Justin alluded to it last time that he's very efficient when he goes to take a shot.
Yep,
he's making them,
and they're usually dunks.
That helps with the efficiency. But yeah, but like we saw him hit like very creative moves, last game and stuff too. And yeah, I mean, when he goes to score, like he's scoring. And then I think that's a great trait, that he hasn't really got to a stage where he's like forcing anything, or at least he hasn't found his limit of being what would consider being him forcing something that he can't quite score on. So I like to see that, but also that he's still like trying and keeping the throttle open, that wasn't just like a spur game where he was just going nuts, that it's still like kind of there.
Question here in chat. The question is, do you think this is our offense kicking or their defense is just terrible?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little both, because I mean, you're still hitting, like we've had games in the past where we've had guys wide open like for 3-point shots, and we just didn't hit them. So we were hitting relaxed shots today too. I mean, a lot of these were jump shots that even if you have a solid defender, I mean, we were still hitting those. I think a bulk of the points, I mean, was us shredding them on just them being overwhelmed and kind of us overmatched. I mean, having bigger size, I mean, that's definitely going to be there. I mean, that's why our big guys got 19 and 17 points. But I think the core of the moves and the way the offense was kind of running, like that can still translate to whatever team. Like, I don't think that was dependent on them being poor at defense.
Yeah, I agree. It's also the similar offense to what we saw against Kansas. Like, this is the same offense we've now seen for 3 games. So I don't think it's markedly, like, we didn't just do something crazy for Kansas and then like all of a sudden we're just like, playing differently.
But I mean, we also scored 105. So even if you spot Central Arc, even if you say like, okay, spot a better team, 25 points, we're still scoring 80 points. So, I mean,
yeah, and actually it's the consistency on the defensive end against a team like Kansas and then continued through to these other ones. I feel like sometimes last year, like the Duke teams have a tendency to play down to the level of the competition, and now we have to see if that comes back in like ACC play, because when you start playing like some of the bottom of the ACC conference, you're going to fall into this trap where you play down to that competition, and then there's the upset. But so far in these ones, we haven't seen it. So speaking